Okay, Tube Timers, we're back. This is the continuing story of the assembly of the Candlestick phone. We have polished it, as you can see. We've installed a felt base, as you can see, with 3 little dimples for the 3 mounting screws that go underneath. Now, prior to this video, I did a few things to speed things along. You didn't need to see me cut and position this terminal block. And what I did was, and I hope it's going to work, I have 3 thicknesses of adhesive pads. And I've stuck the terminal block to the base with this adhesive. Why? Because I really didn't want to drill a hole in it. If I can stay away from drilling holes in it, that's so much the better. In addition, if you notice, these holes are recessed. So the felts, when I put the screws in them, the felt won't wear through at it. Whereas if I drilled holes and attached this thing, I would have perhaps a little bit of screw head sticking up, even if it's a flat head. You'd have a little sticking up which would eventually wear through the felt. However, if it does go bad, I'll drill it out and find a way to attach it without bothering the felt. But boy, I hate to take that ring off again. It wasn't so hard putting it on. Anyways, we're going to start with the mouthpiece, the transmitter. And the transmitter consists of this back piece, the hinge, the front piece, and this microphone. Now, this is another thing I did in advance. I attached the stickies to the microphone. There's no sense in fooling around with trimming it out and figuring out where we need to make things fit. It just took a lot of time. It was a lot of finicky work that didn't make much difference. But the way this is going to work is that this is going to go in here, and this is going to go on top, and it's going to compress the foam a little bit to hold it all in place. In the meantime, I'm going to put a piece of this, what they call fish paper, on the back of this so it doesn't have a chance of shorting out against this should this come loose or otherwise. So, okay, let's get started. Let's, pardon me, let's feed this through, the wire through this assembly. Now, to get it through the, that's another interesting thing. On this candlestick, I used a piece of fish paper to line the inside of this tube. That's just for additional insulating properties. Don't know if I need it or not, but it doesn't hurt to be there. So let's continue on. Here is my wire. I'm going to feed the wire up and through this opening. So now it's threaded through. Then I'm going to feed the wire, being very careful to mount this in the right position, because it can be either on this side or it can be on that side, and only one side works. So we're going to line this slot up with this slot as such. Come on, get in there, you little beggar. And we're going to feed this, obviously has to go here, and we're going to feed this through again. Now, this is a new camera for me, so my camera skills aren't the best, and having a new camera even makes it weirder. But I'm trying to get closer up so you can see better. We're going to fasten this in here, and this is the screw that held it all together. So we will insert that screw. And of course, look at this. I did do it backwards. How do you like that? This needs to be on the other side. So we're going to take it up. Yeah, and it certainly is backwards, because this face piece has to come out here because the cord comes out of there. So we take this off. We rotate it 180 degrees. And we see, I couldn't pick the winner of a one-horse race. Honest to goodness. Even when I'm paying attention, I still screw it up. Oh, well. Such is life. We put in our retaining screw. Come on, get in there, you little beggar. There we go. Now there's a notch in here. There's a notch here and a pinch mark here. to key it in place. So we're going to use our key. We're going to drop it in. Oh, so easily. There we go. It's dropped in. And it's funny, I'm used to working over here because I never had all this space to work in. And I'll put the screw on. And this is again where we give her a little tighten. Good enough. This is where the mouthpiece or the microphone connects. Now what I did here is I don't know if I like this idea. I soldered, I don't know if you can see it very well, I soldered this a brass screw to the center piece of this button, and I also soldered another contact screw to the other button. Why did I have to do that? Well, I had to make a contact in there somehow, and soldering a connection on seems pretty good. Although, what's probably going to happen is I've probably cooked the daylights out of this mouthpiece and it's going to stop working. So if it doesn't work when we first turn it on for the mouthpiece, it was me, all me. So now let's get this connected up here. Does it make a difference what's connected to what? I don't think so. I don't think the wires make much of a difference. I'm going to get an appropriate socket for this. There we go. The appropriate socket. Well, I'll do the white in the center. No particular reason. I'm just doing the white in the center. Alright. And we're going to tighten this down. Hopefully it'll stay tight. I'll do the same with the other connection. The other connection comes on here. Hey, you know what I can do with this thing? I can actually zoom it in a little bit so you can see a little better. Yeah? Unfortunately, I don't know where my field is, so the zooming's kind of weird. Here's the other connection. We're going to make our connection. Now, if you notice on this piece, when you look at it sideways, there's kind of a flatter side and then the notch. So I think I'll put the notch in upside down so it pushes into the plastic as such. Normally I ought to put it up, but this doesn't seem be the right way to do it. Oh boy. Okay. Now I'll tell you what's interesting. This button spins in this. I don't know if it's supposed to, but it does now. And again, that's all my fault. So let's get this. If it doesn't work, well, I'll buy a new button and replace the thing. All right. Turn it a little bit. Maybe we can get a little more vision here. There we go. So I'm going to peel this. This is double stick. I got this from the old phone guy. Old phone works or shop. But anyways, I know him as the old phone guy. Got these rubber pieces from him for just this purpose, actually. Now we got to pay attention to this tag. This tag's on the bottom. So we've got to make sure that we kind of stay in line with that. Now I drew a ring around here centering this thing so that I would have a nice guide when I put it in for the last and final time. And there you go, it's stuck. Now, it's almost time to install the phone itself. So what I'd like to do is keep this in here just as a strain relief. And to hold it in place, perhaps I'll use a little bit of electrical tape. If the electrical tape falls off, well, so be it. But it won't make any noise. It shouldn't rattle around in there. Oh yeah, you know, but I don't know why it comes to tape. It's just everything just gets all twisted and whatnot. Okay. Let's take a little piece of this tape off. We'll cut it. Now this is just a piece of guide tape. It has no other function other than to hold this down while I'm inserting all these wires. And it'll probably hold it in place too, if it doesn't get in the way of my installation. Okay, so normally I would reconnect this like this. I feel a little bit of scrunge in there. Because I feel that scrunge, I'm going to put a piece of insulative fish paper, as I've showed you. If I can find my insulated fish paper. Where did you go, you little bugger? They call this reverse hallucination, when you don't see something on your bench that's actually there. Man, I don't see that piece at all. Dang it. What I want to do is take a piece of fish paper that's a gray paper and place it on top of this. Where did that little son of a gun go? Well, let me take it off camera and we'll see what we can find. Well, we're back. I didn't ever find the thing. I don't know where it went. It vaporizes. No reverse hallucination here, I guess. I didn't see it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if I can keep her in field, is attach this piece of insulating fish paper to the top of this using this sticky peel-off tape, or at least most of it. Because I don't want this, this is really hard to get off. I don't know why they have to make this stuff so hard to get off. You think somebody would invent a way to peel things without a big old hassle. Guess not. On with the hassle. Ooh, here's a spot. There we go. We get something in here. There we go. Now, what I don't want to do is have a piece of sticky sticking out. So we're going to see what we don't need this piece right here. So we can peel this off. Put that back on here. Should we take off the rest of this? I guess I don't see why not. I'll just rip it off to the edge here. That's okay. Somehow it doesn't feel right. I guess rip it all off. If I can get it. There we go. So, here's our fish paper. We place it nicely in here, on here. Whoops. Well, I'll tell you. We'll stick down what we can. And once again, this is just to hold it in place during assembly. Because after it's in, it'll be squished up and not be an issue. Alright, let's see if we can get this installed. Now remember, here's our tag. This is on the bottom. And we got to make sure we put it in that way, without pinching wires and doing other unseemly stuff. Well, I don't think I pinched a wire. Alright, we get out our little bag of screws. There we are, right here. Screws and other assorted things. There we go. 4 screws. And we shall attach these screws one at a time to hold this mouthpiece on. Ooh, I like the way it really is kind of springy, which is kind of nice. Gotta get that hole lined up. Get the screw in place. And give her an attach. Go on the other side. Get the screw in place. So shiny. It's so buffed up so nicely My friend buffed this thing up so nicely for me. That's hard to work on because I can't see anything for the reflection of the shine. That's good, I guess. Now, I'm not tightening these screws in yet. Not until I have finished inserting all the screws. Because you might just need that little bit of wiggle room to align the screw threads up to the hole. And the final screw, and then it's a tightening sequence. Final screw, then the tightening sequence. Dang it. Something is squeaking at me. Like mad, I don't know what. Something always has to make a noise. You ever notice that? There always has to be a noise made. I don't think I got it started. I think I still got it a little cross-threaded on the start. Because these should go in nice and easy. How come is there always one? There, I think I got it. Get this one in place. And now we're not holding up a bridge here, just firmly attached, and we're good to go. This one still didn't sit right. Probably still have it cross-threaded. Or I'm poking through the insulation on something. Alright, that's good enough. Okay, so our mouthpiece is done. Our mouthpiece is all done. And aligned. Now, I have fed through the wire, and we stick this right in here. How about that, hey? And if you notice, there's a little key slot. Okay, so now we're going to back up a little bit. Let's see if I can actually use this kind of neat, this really cool phone, or this cool camera, to continue the job. Okay, what I did was force this down through the hole, and making sure the slot is lined up. Now comes the real finicky part. There was this piece. Ooh, look at this little plastic thing with the threads on it. I get to screw this in this hole and see if it stays. It might not stay because there's a piece of plastic in the way. You can kind of see the plastic in the way of the thing. I guess I can get that in there. Give it a little bit of a fringe. If you recall, there was a single wire came out of this hole, just a single conductor, and it went to the microphone before, sending unit. Now, I'm using a double wire, so I'm just not going to use this hole, but we'll leave it here for appearance sake. Okay. This is the next part. The next finicky part is this right here. Now what I'm going to do is disconnect all the old wires that I chopped off, slide this in, and then I'll attach the switch hook to this part, slide it in, and we'll be good to go. I'm a little bit scatterbrained here, it seems, right now. Okay, let's see what it takes to get these screws off. There we go. I'll take off this piece of bit, and we're going to go into here, into these bits here. Boop, that wire comes off. These wires come off. This was, by the way, the wire that went into this hole. You can see it's got nice insulation to a point, and where everyone handled it, well, wore off the insulation. I suppose I could have carefully cut the insulation around here and slid it up, but I didn't want to use any part of the phone as a return path for anything. Okay, here's some wires. We'll put this away in the package. Well, everything's making noise over there right now. We'll get this tightened back up. The only thing I need to use this for is the only thing I need to use this for is right here, the contact assembly. So we're going to open this up. This is the what I'm going to do is chop this wire into 2 bits. We're going to put this into here like it's going to be. And we're going to give ourselves some room so that I can pull it out next time and work on it if I have to. But not a lot of room. Well, damage is done there. And then what I'm going to do is attach these 2 wires to, I don't know if you can see it, but when you push it, it opens up the contacts there. And that's when the switch is on hook. And we'll see what happens. Now, I'm going to go see what all that noise is on the computer because it's bothering me, all those hiccup burps. And I'll be right back. We're back. Let's see what happens here now. I've chopped this off. Oh, I've got to get a little X-Acto knife out. Or X-Acto knife clone, I guess. We're going to strip off a little wire. These wires, by the way, are going to go on to the terminal base that I had showed you earlier. We're going to peel this off. For now we're going to attach these wires, and I don't think it makes much difference which is which, but these are the 2 contact points. So I'm going to take these little wires off. I'll put the white one here. Come on. They have it where they've pinched it in between 2 washers, which is a very nice way of doing it. One neat thing about the original phone companies, they built stuff to last. This phone's so darn old, yet I'm working on it like I just bought it at the store. It's that easy. Okay, get this back on here. We tighten the jam nut up. There is 2 nuts on here. The original tightening nut and the jam nut. Oh boy. I think they cut these nuts in half actually and used it that way. I don't know, it just feels funny. That out of there so we don't have a shorting activity, and there we have it. So what does this do now? This has to slide down in here and take its place amongst the phone world. Get this over here like this. This black wire wearing here. That's why I put the fish paper on. Now I know why. Trim off little extra hairs. This is where the fish paper comes in handy. Okay. So now we have to get the hook on here. What I did when I took this apart, I taped on the pin. And I taped on this pin so I wouldn't lose it. As sure as I'm an inch tall, it'd be gone. There we go. This was the thing I marveled at, the pin attachment here. So this comes out. Put the pin down. We grab the telephone hook piece and we repin it very nicely. And we repin it. Now what's going to keep it in place is it can't go past the wall. So if you notice, again, we'll get something good and close. When you push this, this little thing pushes against this leaf, which then opens the contacts and hangs up the phone. Now we're talking on the phone. Okay, let's get this into place. Beauty. We're going to get the other wire fished down through the back of this mess. Maybe. Ooh, that felt like a good fish. It was a good fish. And here we go. That is now attached. That's nice. So now we go into the final part of the work. The final part is the base. And the base is going to consist of I really was cheap on this, wasn't I? Gosh darn it. I didn't want to do that too. So naturally, I'm sorry about that little bit of a thing, but I forgot about these two screws that retain this thing on top. So we'll take the thing off the top. Oh, here's my black piece, by the way, that I wanted to put up in that thing. Wouldn't you? Isn't that funny the way it is? You find it when you don't need it anymore. Oop, that screw is too thick of a head, so we'll go to this fine screw head. Take this off. We'll screw that back on. I guess whenever you have lots and lots of bits and pieces of this and that, there's always a forgetfulness of something or another. Again, I did exactly what I didn't want to do, and that is get cheap with this wire. Dang it. Okay, we'll get this thing onto here, like so. Oh, well, that's an interesting problem. How do we route this wire now? I guess that's how we route it. Right there. Okay, so we'll get this up and out and screwed in tight. There we go. This retains the top of the head on the lower receiving part. Oops. There we go. Have to get the threads lined up better with a screw hole. God willing, it happened. It did happen. Hooray. I think I gotta get the camera on the other side so I'm not working into my right hand all the time. Get this tightened up really nice and tight. get this wire down through this hole, which shouldn't be terribly hard. I hope not anyways. But I guess you never know until you actually do it. Oh, that pulled through nice. Well, how nice is that? Hung up. Talk on the phone. Okay. And this here, this middle connection will hold this down in place so this doesn't come out. Okay, now we work on the base. The base consists of this piece here, which I'm also going to glue down right to here. And this piece here, okay, so let's glue it down first. I've got two pieces to glue it down, and they look kind of like this. And the gluing down part is just to kind of keep it from interfering, and hold this in place so that it doesn't move around too much. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna put the tape down, and that's gonna be the end of the whole fooling around with it thing. Well, this isn't exactly the best. This is like 21st century technology, i.e. tape and holding, or sticky pads to hold things down, meets the 19th century technology. Okay, so we have that piece in there. This will ride onto here like this. The transformer has to be in the center because of the raised part here, the embossed part. This right here is very, very close. Too close for comfort. So what I've got is I made, out of another piece of fish paper, an insulating barrier that I can put there. Okay. Take off this top stickies. With the usual degree of difficulty of peeling off double-sided tape. Now I thoroughly cleaned this back with alcohol in the hopes of getting the best stick on this tape. Well, time will tell. I'll push this down a little harder in the middle here. Push this down a little hard here around the thing so that it actually stays in place. And this is a nice piece that has been glued on. Okay, so now where the wires go. That's the big question. Where do the wires go? Well, we're going to need a couple of schematics. This is a schematic of the interface board. So the green and red go to the transmitter that's on the switch. So if you noticed, this is the circuit board wiring, and this is the overall detailed wiring. So you can see what we need to do. The pink wire and the white wire have to go to the same place. So the pink and white. And we're going to try to route this the best we can. All right. Let's see what we have here. Okay. I'm going to have to use a little... Whoops, that's not the right size either. have to use a regular size screwdriver on this. In this case, I'll use a Phillips, a small Phillips. So what's going to happen is I don't have the right screwdriver at all for this. So that means I have to dig out a new screwdriver. Okay, we're back to attach all this stuff up. Pink and white. So the pink wire goes to the switch contacts. So the switch is going to come in here. Okay. There we go. We'll put this on here. It's a pink wire. Right? Just always farting around. There's our pink wire. Screw that down. And our white wire. Pink and white. The white goes to the telephone line connection. Telephone connection through the switch hook to the pink back. Okay. So the switch hook I'm going to put between here and here, because that means that I can use this side to run the line out of. So the green, pink, and the white wire, it's going to go right here next to this fella. This will make a little more sense when I get farther along. So what's going to happen is I'm going to use the transmit and receive in a convenient place, and we'll go from there. Okay, so let's see. What should we do next? Oh, the handset. Whoa, the handset. All right. The handset. Now, let me take this apart. This is not the original handset. Rather, I really screwed that on tight. Rather, this is a telephone speaker pre-wired into this handpiece, because the original isn't functional. And I'm going to what am I going to do? Anyways, I forget what I was going to say. Don't you hate that part? Okay, so this is the handpiece right here. And this is the part that goes on the telephone up there on top. Okay, so we're going to have to kind of pay attention to which wires are which. The short wire goes to the switch contacts. Or is that the long wire? Huh, I forgot now. That's all right. We'll wire this up and figure it out in a minute. So this is the hearing piece, the earpiece, and the earpiece goes, one of them goes to the yellow wire. So I'm going to put this yellow wire over here to the other side. I'm separating them out so that it makes some sense, to me at least. This goes here. The black wire goes to the one next to it. We're wiring in this cut piece. It's always good to land your wires on a connector or barrier board or something. It's never good to let wires just float. Now the green wire goes to the other part of the transmitter, right here. So the transmitter's going to come in between here and the green, the red and the green. Okay, I guess this is going to be listen and talk. This ought to be interesting. The blue, by the way, is not used. As you can see, the blue just comes out to here and goes nowhere. And there's nowhere blue is mentioned. And actually, it's this point that's been cut off. So I'm just going to land this nicely on an available spot that I'll never use. So the blue wire comes through to here. And the red wire goes to the transmitter as well. And this is the transmitter. Is this the red wire? Yep, the red wire is a ground. Isn't that nasty? Here's a black wire and a red wire. They're all the same wire. Red and black. So the red wire is the other ground. And the other ground is the black, because the black wire is, or common, I should say. It's common to the black wire. And that goes to the transmitter directly. So we'll just wire this right up to here. Because this is the transmitter side, this is the receiver side, this is the receiver side, this is the transmitter side. Blah. We're going to see if we get this in here. Okay, everything kind of looks like it's in place anyways. We'll get these wires tucked in nicely, and perhaps use a wire tie on it. A couple of little wire ties just to hold it together so it doesn't get pinched on anything when I reassemble it. This is going to be a tricky point right there. Alright, we have all these wires here. And we'll pull this up tight. Have another wire wrap here. After it's been pulled up nice and very tight. Firm, but hopefully not insane. And these little bundle of wires, well, maybe they can just tuck in and stay put. I think we'll just tuck those in and they can just stay put. Okay. These wires, on the other hand, we'll see if we can gather these somehow. These don't need much of a gathering. Maybe I won't even waste the time. We'll just sort of twist it together and make a clump out of it. Okay, so now I think the base is wired to our assembly here. Now for the final wiring. Okay. So the last wire cable I'm gonna bring out, set of wires or cable. Which is dogging me a little bit. is the part that gets plugged into the wall jack, the RJ45, RJ11 wall jack, RJ45. Again, too damn much computers. So we'll stick this in through here. And begin the fishing process. There we go. I have as much of this fish wire as I want. Now I happen to know that the yellow and black are not used in my particular phone system. So it's a 2-wire system, yellow and black, and we will wrap this black wire, these wires along around here, and we'll hold it in place that way. That's me, always trying to preserve the wire length. I don't know why. But the red and the black are not used. And we'll get a piece of tape to hold that down, of course. Cut off these ends a little bit with a copper wire that's exposed. Come on. And we'll just sort of nip this down into place after I neaten up my windings yet again. Okay, not particularly neat, but I guess it'll do the job. Okay, so now we have to figure out which of these wires are which goes where. This is the telephone wire. This is the earpiece wire. And so how do we check this out? Well, we're going to check it out the easy way. And the easy way, well, the real easy way is to pull this up and see which wire goes with it. All right, this is the mouthpiece part of the thing. The talking part, we'll strip off some wire. Oh boy, my X-Acto knife needs to be replaced. The blade needs to be replaced. We'll pull that off of there. This is the one that went to the piece up here. Alright, well, let's start connecting these things. I'm losing track of what goes where. This one is this wire is the earpiece wire. And the earpiece wire, the receiver, goes between the black come on, there we go. The black and the yellow. So here's the yellow, black and yellow. I kind of like it with it being facing down in this particular one. So I'm going to take this out and move it back to facing down. Okay, so that's this piece. Now this is a cord that's supposed to hold this in place. So when I'm done here, I'm going to have to figure out a holding in place part. Same with this phone line, or the phone line when you hook it up. This is also a holding in place thingy. I wonder if this would hold in place nicely right here. Look at that. It's like it was made for it. And all I gotta do is pinch it off. Okay, so that's nicely bent and held in place, I think. You know, I just keep doing things until I do one thing too much. Alright, so that'll hold that nicely in place, see? Keeps a strain relief for the cord. And the main line, I have to refer to the other diagram for the main line, and it goes from one side of the line goes to one switch hook, and the other side goes to the white. Sadly, I don't know which is which. In other words, I don't know which one goes to the switch hook and which one doesn't. And I don't think it makes a difference in this case. So what I'm going to do is strip out a piece of wire to make a nice loop in the connector. I'm using a pin. I'm using different. I really don't want to use these because these have always had the potential of cutting the wire off altogether. So I'll try one more time with this little thing. These have sharp edges on it, so maybe I can get a hold of a sharp edge and pull the wire off. Wow, this is good wire. There we go. But I can see I nicked it all the way down, or at least I stretched it all the way down. Do the same thing to this one. That's nicely done. According to the switch hook goes to one, and the other goes to the white. So we're just going to put the white to the green for no particular good reason. White. Oh, this one of the lines goes to the white, which is a ground. We're going to connect this up here like this. I'll take this off because there's no spade lug on this. I want to take every opportunity to lose a screw. Okay, so that just isn't working at all for me. Okay, so the white one went to the green line, and the red line has to go to one of the switch hook connections. And that's going to be an interesting story. How do we get that into place? Oh, that's what this is for. I left my switch hook connection right there, and I forgot it. So we'll hook the line to the switch hook. We shall take this out. We shall put this in. Okay, the line wires are connected. I'm just twisting them to so they don't have so many wires just running around like wild wires. Okay, that's that part there. Now, once again, this is the part that goes to the transmitter. We'll strip off a little of this wire. Well, this is interesting wire. This wire is wrapped around a cloth relief. Have to be careful with this. Makes a good surface though for pushing through. Okay, this is the transmitter. The transmitter goes, one goes to green right here, and the other goes to black. Black or red, depending on how you want to use it. And I will do, the black goes to the the black goes to the red. How's that for a thing? Because the red and the black are the same off this little board. Stick this in here. God willing, I can get it all in. And the other one goes to green and black. The other one goes to the green wire. The green wire is right here. Now I'm sure there's wire and striping conventions that I'm not paying heed to. And well, that's just the way it goes. Okay, and the final connection now is going to be this connection. We'll lop off a piece of this wire because we don't need all this stuff in here. And well, there we go. This braided stuff's really interesting the way it just comes off. And we do the same thing here. We have a wire. I think it's the same kind of wire. That little bit of a copper wrapped around cloth thing. There we go. Oh no, I fail to be impressed. But that's why they made these wires. It's ultra flexible that way. Okay, so this is now the switch hook. And the switch hook goes pink to the line. So the pink wire is right here. It's the last of the wires we haven't used. And again, I don't know if it makes a difference if it's black or white or what it is. So we'll put this here. And this is the last wire. And it goes to the line, the other line. Because this is the switched on to the transmitter microphone piece. These wires are kind of neat and flexible, but they're a little bit tough to jockey around into position. And I constantly want to get bent up and out of the way. There we go, I think. Now, before we tie anything down or connect things up, we're going to give it a try. Okay, so I'm going to plug this way over to a telephone outlet. It's now plugged in. This would say line in use if it was open. We're going to pick this up. Oh yeah. We have a dial tone and line in use came into play. So now the question is, does it work? Well, I'll get back to you on that. Okay, here we are. Here's our completed telephone. I guess I didn't show you all the excruciating detail. You can see the switch hook. Works nice. I put in the mouthpiece or voice concentrator. The green is even done. I mean, I tucked it all in. I bolted it down with screws, but I used a washer to kind of help spread the force out on the green felt. Washers. I want you to be very aware of a washer. It has two different sides. Yeah, they look the same, but oftentimes if they're just punched washers, one side will be beveled and round, and the other side will be sharp, like a knife. In this case, I made sure all the bevel rounds were pushing on the felt, because if I use the other side that has a sharp ring around it on the washer, and I push it in, it might cut it, and we don't want to have any of that. So this looks like it's tightened in all the way around. I'd love to have an X-rated machine to see inside how these wires actually came out. Does it work? Well, you heard the dial tone. The mouthpiece kind of sort of works, and it's probably my fault, like I said earlier. I spoke to my wife, and she's on this phone, and I could hear her fine. I just couldn't. She wasn't always quiet when I talked into here. So that would suggest that the microphone was damaged by my soldering. Then those microphones are simply granules of carbon. And when you talk, you shove those granules around, changes resistance, and that allows your voice to be changed into an electrical signal. Varying resistance, varying currents moving through that transmitter head. Soldering so hard I probably melted out a gasket or did something in there that was bad. Perhaps after I'm done I'll do a post-mortem on the thing. I ordered another piece, and we'll see what's going. We'll see if we can get it going. But nevertheless, I consider this a success. You're going to start seeing this around my bench pretty soon, because I'm going to actually use this thing in everyday life, so to speak. So that's it, Tube Timers. That was a lot of fun. I know the second episode, or third episode this episode was profoundly long with a lot of minutia. Maybe I'll change that next time. Maybe I won't. Okay, Tube Timers, everyone take care. Please be kind to one another. And we'll see you in our next video, when we begin to work on that other project, that great big old RCA radio out of the late 40s or early 50s. Take care, everyone. We'll see you then.